lender with Tall Money Man. I'm your host, Kyle, Tall Money Man, and today I've got a special guest with me, one of my best friends in the whole wide world. We even share a birthday together. He's just a little older than me, and I've got a little more hair than maybe not. His name is Danny Beyer. He's with Iron Horse Wealth Management. Danny's a keynote speaker on networking and building relationships. He's been a contributor to the Business Record and DSM Magazine. In 2015, he was elected to the Dallas Center City Council and was recently elected mayor. And he serves on the executive board of Variety, the children's charity. In 2021, he became a partner at Iron Horse Wealth Management. Welcome to the show, Danny.
Thanks, Kyle. Delighted to be here.
Yeah, so let's get right into it, Danny. I really want to know, what makes you tick these days, or what's exciting to you as far as being a financial advisor?
The greatest part of my job is the fact that I truly get to help move people. What makes me tick is the same stuff that made me tick starting the very first day that I got here. And it's really the opportunity to help people solve their problems, reach their goals, achieve their dreams. One of the most unique things that I'm working on right now, though, is working on helping that next generation of advisors get into the field and achieve the success that I've been able to find. So we've got a couple younger advisors who are here who, they're fairly new, they're newer to the community, and just getting them connected, getting them on the path has been a ton of fun as well.
Nice. So so this is really you giving yourself an opportunity to look back, right, and say, if I could do this all over again, what would I do? So what advice are you giving them here?
The number one piece of advice that I'm giving them is not to worry about selling. They don't have to meet with people and turn every single individual client they talk to into a client, because really that's an unrealistic goal and it's just not going to happen. We are in the business, and this sounds kind of quaint, maybe a little pedantic, but we are in the business of helping people. There are people who want help. There are people who get it. There are people who don't, and that's totally fine. And so just being open to conversations, meeting people where they're at, and being there to answer questions. I'm sure it's pretty similar to your role, Kyle, in the fact that, not everybody is buying a house multiple times a year, sometimes not even multiple times in their life. So you just don't know what you don't know. And that's where we can be a resource, both on those retirement plans, on financial advising, and honestly hooking them up with good individuals like yourself who are going to take care of them on their entire financial picture outside of what I manage.
I think I'm really just hung up on the word pedantic. I don't think that one was in my vocabulary prior to today. So thank you for giving me that one.
You're welcome.
Whew.
You're welcome.
That's a good first episode a word for me, Danny. Thank you. I appreciate that. How do you, so kind of getting more into your role as a financial advisor and understanding that it's all about the relationships. How can you define success if you're not able to look at the numbers, right? You're not going in and saying, well, we had 25 meetings and 20 of those turned into customers. And of those 20, we were able to grow their portfolio by X amount. Like, if you're not looking at those numbers, how do you define success?
It's a great question. And again, Iron Horse, we're a little weird. I totally own that. Not going to try to fake that. But my main goal is to help people move on and get to whatever level they want to financially. So it could be as simple as the brand new individual coming in and starting a Roth for the first time in their life at age 22, 23. It could be the couple getting to the end of their working lives and understanding how what they've saved, along with Social Security, along with tax strategies, those types of things, how those are all going to work together to make sure they're not going to run out of money. It could be as simple as someone who wants to pay off their car loan, and really just helping that person move from point A to point B successfully. That's really how we judge success here at Iron Horse. It's not necessarily about the sheer number of assets you've brought in. Obviously, we have growth goals for our individual advisors. We also have growth goals for the portfolios. We want to maintain and be competitive with what the stock market is doing. Otherwise, we're not doing our jobs. We're not helping our clients. And so we do have those things. But in the end, if I'm successfully helping move someone forward, then I'm doing what I set out to do.
So to take that one step further, then I'm going to maybe ask you a question that you haven't really thought too much about yet. But what do you think that means your legacy will be?
Ooh, that's deep. That's a deep one. Um, my personal legacy, what I am looking to build. I don't know how many of the listeners, if you're familiar with a guy by the name of Stan Reynolds, but Stan Reynolds was one of the instrumental founders in the Variety, the children's charity telethon. He and four other dudes started that thing 50 years ago, actually this week. He created something that helped raise over $140 million for children over the course of the 50 years the telethon went on, and that he was involved with Variety before he passed. With all of that, with all that work that he did, with all of that good that he had in the community, his son shared this past week, because Stan passed a couple of years ago, that as he knew he was coming to the end of the road, he asked his oldest son, am I a good man? And his son looked him in the eyes and said, Dad, I don't know anyone better. My goal when I'm laying on that deathbed, whatever that looks like, is to be able to look around and say, the world's a little bit better. My community is a little bit better. My clients' lives are a little bit better. My wife, my children's lives are just a little bit better because I was around. Might sound wishy-washy, might sound, 50,000 foot view versus a real direct answer. But if one person can look at me and say, hey, I'm in a better place because of you, then it's been worth it.
Yeah, Danny, you and I have been friends for a long time, and that's maybe the deepest question I've ever asked you. So
Yeah.
that was good. I really appreciate that. So I guess kind of going back to the foundation here, then, what got you into wanting to be a financial advisor? How did you get started with this desire and dream?
There are so many bad financial advisors. I think that's really, really what it comes down to.
Fair.
When I first met Dennis Markway, the founder of Iron Horse, very first meeting shakes my hand, and I say, "Hi, I'm Danny Beyer," and he goes, "I know who you are, and I'm going to hire you someday." And I laughed at him, and I was like, "Man, that's bold." And he goes, "Yep, I know what I want." And I said, "Well, what do you do?" And he goes, "I'm a financial advisor." I said, "Dennis, I'm sorry, never going to be a financial advisor." And he goes, "Well, why is that?" I said, "Dennis, I've had so many meetings with financial advisors in my career. They call up, say, hey, I just want to meet for networking. I just want to get to connect and know you a little bit better." And I take the meetings because that's what I do. And 15 minutes in, they pull out a binder and they're trying to sell me a life insurance policy. He laughed and he goes, "Yep, I want to hire you even more." And I remember that. And so 5, 6 years later, when I was actually looking, I gave him a call and I said, "You stuck with me. I'm looking for a new career. Intriguing enough, let's grab a beer." So we sat down and he told me about Iron Horse and the main things he was trying to do. In his exact words, he wanted to spite the financial advising industry. And so with that and with founding Iron Horse, we're fee only. The only people who pay us are our clients. We're independent. I don't have a broker dealer. There's no funds that I'm attached to. No one I have to sell anything for. And then the big one for me is we're fiduciaries. And so I have to do what is in my client's best interest. With those three real guiding principles, I was able to go out and just tell the story of Iron Horse. I don't know that I have really ever asked a bunch of people for business. I've simply told the story, and people have asked me how they can work with me. And through that, I see the connections, I see the relationships, and the fact that instead of trying to sell a product, instead of trying to hit a goal, instead of trying to get that thing so I can win the trip to Hawaii, I just have real conversations and help move people where they want to be, give advice no matter where they are in life. And really my end goal with all of it is to make them more money than my fees would ever cost.
Well, I know that you do a darn good job of that because I can personally attest to that. And I will throw that right out there. But at the same time, Danny, you might be one of the hardest working people I know. I can text you at 6 in the morning and you respond right away because you're already up and going. I can text you at 8:30 at night and you're still plugging away. When do you find time to hang out with your girls, your daughters, your wife?
You know that I don't text after 10, so thanks for giving me some credit there with
That's why I said
8:30.
8:30. Okay.
I appreciate it. Um, I'm super lucky, and kind of similar to you in the role that we're in. We're fortunate enough with the jobs that we have that I don't have to be doing my job all hours of the day. However, I can do my job whenever I want to. So I have the flexibility. Wednesday night, my daughter's last volleyball practice was held that night, and the coach invited parents to come play parents versus kids. They smoked us. They were way better than we were, but I did get to have one really good spike on her, which made it all worth it. Uh, but having the flexibility to go to those things, be able to go to her games, be able to go to Tabitha's basketball games, and not be in a normal, what I would consider, like a retail job, what I grew up in with Hy-Vee and other places. The flexibility of the roles that we've created for ourselves. And I think it's just prioritizing time. There are hours when I'm home that it is sacred. That I'm sure you've texted me between 5, 6 o'clock, and you're not going to hear from me generally. Now, if they're in their rooms playing, ignoring me, yeah, I'll text back. They are 13 and 11 now, so I'm not as cool as I once was. But depending on the night, depending on what's going on, yeah, I'll be all in when I'm with them. Other times, sure, I can respond to those texts. I can get stuff taken care of.
Nice. So you kind of talked about what's important to them and what they have going on, and obviously important to you is your family. But what are some hobbies you have outside of hanging out with the wife and kids? I know you'll text me and tell me, "Hey, the wife and kids are headed up to in-laws for the weekend, and I've got the entire weekend or week or whatever to relax." What does that relaxation look like for you?
Right now, the latest hobby is Legos. I love Legos. Like, and now we have adult money, dude, so we can buy cool Lego sets versus the crappy ones. We
What
do
kind
have
of
a hard
Legos are we
and
talking
fast.
about here?
Yeah, we have a hard and fast rule. I build mostly architectural ones, and the rule in my house is I can only build sets for places we've been to. And so I have like the Empire State Building, the Statue of Liberty. I just finished the Hogwarts castle because we went to Hogwarts at Universal Studios. My wife has now got in on it, and she's building the Disney Princess Castle from Disneyland because we've been there a couple different times. I do love to read. I like to write. Got a couple books that I've put out in the last several years. That's a ton of fun. Um, Trying to get back into physical fitness. I feel like that's the one part of my life that's lacking right now. But yeah, finding that motivation kind of sucks sometimes.
Those Peloton ladies yelling at you to get your butt in gear are just they're so
Right,
motivating, aren't
right.
they?
They are 100%. I love it.
All right. Well, I kind of want to jump in to get, like I say, get to know you a little bit more here, and I want our listeners to hear a little more about you. So I'm going to play a little game of this or that. I'm going to ask you two different things. I want you to tell me this one or that one. Which one's more like
Okay.
you? And you can give explanation if you want to, or we can just jump right into the next one. It's totally up to you.
All right.
All right. So getting started here. Coffee or tea in the morning?
100% coffee. There's no question.
Beach vacation or mountain getaway?
I have found I am a beach person. I used to be agnostic, but as I'm getting older, beaches.
Your head could use some sunscreen, though. That's for sure.
100%.
Books, fiction or nonfiction?
Nonfiction. I just can't. I can't get into fiction anymore. I wish I could. What about you?
Yeah, I'm totally the same.
Yeah, you're
I read
nonfiction.
too many
Okay.
books that are all about helping me to stay focused and stay on
Yeah.
track. And I don't have uh, the brain capacity to be fairy tales anymore and stuff like that.
Yeah.
My kids want to pretend, and I just can't pretend anymore. It's not fun. So, Early
However,
bird or night owl?
I will do the occasional comic book, um, just as a total
Captain
detox.
Underpants.
Yeah, absolutely. Ooh, that one's hard. I do my best work alone, and so I'd say either or, but probably lean more towards night owl. I know you joke that I'm in bed at 10 o'clock. My phone's just off at 10 o'clock. I'm still doing things.
You're just ignoring me. That makes sense. Yep. Cats or dogs?
Oh, dogs. 100% dogs.
Cooking at home or dining out?
Who? Dining out. I'm not even going to pretend like I cook at home that much anymore.
Does Casey cook?
Yeah, we both love to cook. It's just the time thing.
Yeah. Especially your kids get older. It's just impossible
Yep.
to because you're on the go all the time. Yeah.
Yep.
Podcasts or listening to music?
Listening to music. Although, thanks to your influence, I have gotten more into some podcasts. But I do still choose music 90% of the time.
I love it. Summer heat or winter snow?
Summer heat every time.
Kind of figured
You?
that one with the beach, but
Yeah.
I really like the winter snow because it gives me a reason to not have to be outside, other than when I'm snow blowing and freezing my
Right.
butt off. But I like that winter snow.
All right.
City life or countryside?
I grew up in the country, and that's probably why I am so torn. But I love city life. And I live in the country right now. So vacations, I'm going to a city.
Fair. I totally would agree with both of those points for myself as well. Workout, gym session or outdoor run,
Outdoor run.
or riding your bike outdoors as
All right,
well.
Patty. Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. I would rather be outside than just breathing air.
Comedy movie or thriller?
Comedy every time.
Amen. Adam Sandler, I just noticed, was like
Yeah.
the top paid actor last year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like his Netflix streaming, he's one of the most streamed actors in the world.
I love Adam Sandler movies, but
Yeah.
some people,
Yep.
he's a polarizing person at times as well. Yeah. um, planned itinerary or spontaneous adventure on travel vacations?
Yes. Um,
All of the above.
there will be an itinerary to make sure we hit some of the key things, but there will also always be spontaneity, like given in there, if that makes
Absolutely.
sense.
You plan out the night to just do whatever the heck comes up, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Instagram or Twitter?
Neither. I'm not on either. TikTok.
There you go. There you go. That's you're the TikTok guy now. All right, and the
Yep.
last one here, relaxing. Is it reading a book or watching a movie?
Probably reading a book. I get really nervous about watching movies because, like, if you commit and it's a really bad movie, that's 2 hours of your life you're never getting back. Whereas if you read for a little bit and you're like, oh, this is garbage, it's typically within the first half hour and you can like toss and move on to the next one.
Fair. Yeah, I don't think I can read for 30 minutes, let alone 2 hours like you're talking about there. But yeah, if I could, that's why I like these podcasts. I like the books on tape. That's really
Yeah.
where I could do a book on tape, but it's still watch a movie.
Yep.
I get your logic. My logic just doesn't. I can't read that well, so I guess I don't love it as much.
Fair.
All right, and then the last question here for you. This is kind of a trending topic. Can you explain the difference between a financial advisor and a financial planner?
I mean, I can do it in my world. I don't know that it's going to be universally accepted this way. So when I look at it as a financial advisor, I'm looking at it as you likely have some assets or you're starting to build assets, you've accumulated assets, and you would want someone to advise what you should be doing with those assets. How should they be invested based on your goals, based on your age, your risk tolerance, those types of things? Are they appropriately diversified, so forth and so on? The financial planner, on the flip side of that, it's a more, I guess, total picture view of it. So with the planner side of things, you want to look at the entire holistic picture from, what are your debts, what are your income levels, what are your investments, what are your dreams, what are your goals, so forth and so on. And now we want to put together a full plan to take you from, okay, I'm here and someday I want to retire or I want to take a trip every 6 months or so forth and so on. So it's that entire picture versus just very narrowly focused on a certain set of investments that you're going to be advising on. Some firms may use those terms interchangeably. I'm an advisor, so I'm advising on your entire financial picture. I look at it as I do have relationships where I am simply a financial advisor, where people don't want me to see everything. They just want their money to make money. I have others that I'm a financial planner. You and I work together in that route where we're looking at the whole picture and how is this evolving over time. So that's how I look at it here at Iron Horse.
Makes sense. I love it. Well,
Yep.
Danny, thanks for joining us here. How can people get a hold of you if they've got questions about their finances or even planning out the future?
Yeah. Easiest way, email is just Danny at ironhorsewm for wealthmanagement.com. Shoot me a note, connect with me on the socials, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever there. Happy to chat that way as well if that's easier.
Awesome. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate you being here. Thanks to all the listeners out there tuning in today. And we'll be back with another awesome guest next week. You won't want to miss. Thanks for tuning in to The Lofty Lender. And we hope you have an awesome day.
Thanks, everybody.